plead innocent of all charges.
Did you miss us? We're back.
Talk about the good times with Talking Elvis.
This is the first one of season 2, or as they all say in the old school, it's episode 21. Welcome to Talking Elvis, the podcast with me, Vince Wright.
And myself, Ian Gray. We're back. Was that a poltergeist or something?
Yeah.
Yes, 21 today. We've got the key of the door.
Go near the light.
Yeah.
21, key of the door. Never been 21 before. Wow, yes.
Fantastic.
Oh, it seems like only yesterday we were 19.
Oh, those were the days, eh?
So we're still here. We had the reminiscing episode, and we looked at all that, and we've got plans afoot. This one, I thought we were reminiscing at the end of the last one, weren't we?
Yes.
So I think we've got a good little topic for tonight. But in the meantime, what's happened in the Elvis world?
Well, Graceland has opened again, as we know, which is good, and the visitor numbers are of course down because people are still a little bit cautious about travelling, which is fine because those lucky people going to Graceland at the moment can actually get around without too many crowds around them. So that's all good stuff. And on a bit closer to home, the ETA Graceland in Denmark, they've cancelled their summer garden party. And I had my tickets.
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm still going to win on the sympathy vote. I should be at Graceland now. Now. As
today?
We speak.
I
should be there now, yes. I should be in Nashville and Memphis for these 2 weeks. So I win on the sympathy vote.
All right, that's fair enough. Okay. Yeah, so the Memphis Mansion summer garden party has been cancelled until September of 2021. I was going to say 1921 for a moment.
Yeah.
Just get me DeLorean.
Get me
DeLorean out. That'll do it. Yeah. And the other bit of major news, football's back, isn't it great? You know what? Apart from talking to you, I've done nothing but watch football over these last few days. It's been absolutely marvellous. If that's not your thing, folks, then I do apologise. But
it's not.
All of a sudden, life has a meaning once again for me.
Yeah, and me, I have to hide. But the pubs are shut, so I can't even be moaning. Oh, they've got the footy on in the pub.
No, you can't. No. But there we go.
Yeah. Other news in cancellations. Ginger.
Oh yes, the evening with Ginger Alden, and was it that was around about the 13th of August or 12th of August or something in Memphis with our friend Jamie Kay. That's been postponed until next year as well. It does make you wonder as well what they're going to do with the actual Elvis Week celebrations at the Graceland in Memphis. We don't know yet. They've no announcement just yet because that is going to draw people as it always does, I guess.
Well, there's so many different problems going on at the moment. It really is. Who knows, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. It's so because I should imagine all the hotels in Memphis would have been booked in preparation and readiness for it. So it's that'll be interesting. Keep an eye on that. So hopefully nothing will be curtailed too much. But
I see that
it's almost inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah, I see that Graceland are refunding to British visitors who can't fly to America. There was talk of them not refunding at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So at least that's come back now. So that's good.
Yes.
So it is what it is again. Everybody's got to get on with it. We're all in the same boat.
Yes.
But it's all for the best.
I'm Justin Gosman.
And I'm Gertie Bladar from the TCB cast.
And you're listening to the Talking Elvis podcast. It's a hot time in Florida.
Rainy night in Georgia.
Excellent stuff.
Right then, what have you got on the show this week, Vince?
Well, before that, I'm going to say, stay tuned for more music. Now, stay tuned to the end of the show because we're going to announce something special. Mum's the word, but we're going to announce something special at the end.
Are you going to let me in on this little secret?
No, not going to tell you yet. You're going to hear it first time as well as them. So make sure you stick to the end because we're going to have a big announcement.
Marvelous.
So today's show.
Yes.
While I've been in sunny lockdown, I've been going through the vaults and looking at interviews we did for the radio show. Would you like to tell us about the radio show?
Well, you can find us. We're still going strong on Cam FM each and every Wednesday, 6 p.m. UK time.
Excellent. So that's good. So I found some of the interviews out of there, and sort of top and tailed them, had a look at them, and I thought it was time to give them a bit of a podcast airing, because they went out on the night of the radio, and then they've been stuck on my hard drive since. So, but take us back to 2015, and are you familiar with Orion?
Oh yes, I remember this. Yes.
Yes.
They released a documentary movie around about then, didn't they?
So this documentary came out about the story of Jimmy Ellis. Now, if you know my view of ETAs, which you probably do, this is very different. This was a mythology thing. This is a great story. Is it Elvis? Isn't it Elvis? If you remember when the Save the Last Dance for Me song came out, must play that on the show again. The Jerry Lee Lewis and Friends album.
Yeah.
And it's is it Elvis? Is it not? And whatever's happened here. And it's this Jimmy Ellis. And I didn't know his story. I knew that he's a guy who looks a bit Elvis-y, puts a big weird mask on, and right, and does a bit himself.
Yeah. That sounded just like
film
Elvis.
That was being made. A big doc. It did, didn't it? Yeah. Orion, the Man Who Would Be King, was to come out.
I remember.
So I saw that this film was coming out, and I looked around and I wanted to see it, and it wasn't playing everywhere. It was a bit of the art house cinemas and the like, and I couldn't find it near me, and I actually went to Derby to watch it. So what's that, 40 miles?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
So I travelled 40 miles to see this because the director was there doing a Q&A, which I was really interested in, and I was so shocked when I got there that this film director, who I was convinced was going to be Jiminy Billy Bob, who was going to be a good old boy who made the film, was a red-headed girl from Nottingham. So when we did the Q&A, I arranged and said, can we have an interview? And a week or so later, we got a little interview together after the Q&A. Let's have a listen to that, and we'll fill you in some more details after. Okay, and now we've got a special guest star today. We've got Jeanie Finlay, the filmmaker behind the Orion movie. Hello there, Jeanie.
Hello, Vince. Really nice to be on your show.
Thank you. Thanks for coming along again. It was good to see the film the other week when I got up to Derby and had the Q&A with you after. I could have just taken over and just asked you tons of questions then. I'm glad I've got you cornered.
Yeah, well, this is brilliant, being able to follow up.
Yes. It really is. I wore all my masks everywhere. So down Aldi, wearing the mask. Lots of advertising going on for you. Really, then, so how does a Nottingham filmmaker end up making a film, a really weird film, a stranger than fiction film about Orion?
I don't know. I kind of feel like Orion found me. It all started off with buying a record at a car boot sale in Nottingham. Me and my husband collect a lot of records and books and, antiques, interesting things and artifacts. And we were at a car boot sale in Nottingham about 12 years ago and found an Orion record, Orion Reborn. It was just a really intriguing album cover with a mysterious man in a blue mask with his hands on his hips. It just looks great, and it's on Sun Records, so you immediately think, I'm buying a bit of history here.
Yeah, I've got to buy that.
Yeah, and it's £1. It's gold vinyl. I mean, there's no reason to not buy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's worth framing and putting on the wall just for that alone, isn't it?
Totally. It's an interesting thing, and then we just kind of did some research into it and then uncovered the Orion story. And
were you a filmmaker at that point?
I wasn't. At that time, I was making artwork for galleries, and it was just... the Orion story never really went away. I remember once I'd started making films, I'd made a couple of features, and the thing that funders or people always want to know is, well, what's your next project? And I never forgot about Orion and thought, oh, you know what, I think that would make a really great story. So I decided to start making the film about 6 years ago.
Oh, well, that's taken forever then.
Oh, I mean, films can take forever, really.
Yeah.
But I make projects in rotation. So since I started making Orion, I made a further 3 features that went out to cinemas. But I never forgot about Orion. And every single time I do a screening in the States with one of my other films, like Sound It Out, about the last record shop in Teesside, I would just I'd phone up my cameraman and we'd get another interview in the can, really, and just stealthily
sort of piggyback
make the film. Totally make the most of. I've got a 11-year-old daughter, so I want to make the most of my time away from home. And sometimes the good thing about being a documentary maker is you can just film a bit here, film a bit there, and pull the film together.
And it's your baby. I like that. So what music are you into yourself, would you say?
I like the big heartbreaking ballads of people like Bobby Gentry.
Oh, excellent.
I love Bobby. I'm a massive Dolly Parton fan. I like Dusty Springfield. I like the indie. I grew up with the Smiths, so that sort of music. But we listen. My favourite music to go out dancing to is a bit of psych or a bit of 60s garage or soul.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a good night out. Yeah, I'm a big fan of music generally. I'd done sort of everything from the cheesy discos. I'd been a DJ through all that and loved it, but I'll play anything. It's great. If it makes you dance, it's got to be good.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing quite like it, is it?
So all the other films that you spoke of then, are they all readily available, the 3 other films of yours?
Yeah, they're all available on iTunes. So Sound It Out, you can watch on iTunes, and that's about the last record shop in Teesside.
I like the look of that one. I like the sound of that one.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a very... it's a film made with a lot of love, really. And I've made a film called The Great Hip Hop Hoax a couple of years ago, which was about an audacious music industry hoax.
Sounds familiar.
It's a film about the biggest rappers to come out of the UK in the wake of Eminem, and they're kind of taking over London, kicking up dust, signed to Sony for a massive record deal. But what no one actually knew was these 2 guys were just some students from Scotland who'd never been to America, and they just put on fake accents and got this huge record deal. They were basically laughed at and called the rapping proclaimers when they rapped in a Scottish accent, so they decided to take revenge. So my film kind of uncovers...
That's another night's viewing for me sorted now. Then, fantastic.
Yeah, I think that one's only
like
99 pence on iTunes, I think, to watch. So it's quite a funny story, but it's also quite dark. It's about the consequences of lying and not being yourself, and the impact that has on the 2 guys at the centre of the story.
Right. Oh, that's good then. And that's a documentary. So were you there at the time, or is this?
No, it was all told retrospectively.
Yes.
So these boys were just at the beginning of MySpace and social media, and they filmed everything. So when I started making the film, I was kind of handed a carrier bag full of archive tapes.
Oh, it's Blair Witch, yeah.
Yeah, a bit like
Blair
that.
Hip Hop Witch, yeah.
So I was able to reconstruct some of the stuff they did. It felt like being there at the time to witness what they'd got up to. But we also worked with I worked with an animation team, John Bergerman, who's a really brilliant illustrator, and then 2 animators from Scotland, and we reconstructed some of the stuff they did using animation.
Oh, right, that's 99p on my list.
Yes.
We'll get a little bit of that. Brilliant. So back to Orion. So there you are. You're floating around America. They're filming here, there, and everywhere. You managed to get all the key players, didn't you? Was that a struggle?
It's always a struggle. I mean, I think making films, there's a pleasure and a pain in kind of getting the right people to appear on camera, and it's always a challenge, especially if you're making a film in another country. There was a bit of initial resistance as to, well, who's this strange red-headed woman showing up wanting to talk to me about this? There was obviously a bit of suspicion, and some people were like, well, why is this woman making this film instead of, a good old boy from Alabama?
Yeah, it should have been Jiminy Billy Bob made it.
The thing is, I was the one who was pursuing it. It takes a lot of persistence and kind of strong-willedness to see a film through, because it can take years and years and years. So, but once I met with people, they really kind of understood that I was really had a genuine passion for the story.
Yeah, that's sure.
And one by one, they all just agreed to take part, really.
So I thought the scoop was getting his son. I wouldn't have believed you'd have got that because it was such a Halloween story. I was surprised that he showed up, but that really made it because he was just a good old boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean I don't think we could have been from more different worlds.
No.
I was explaining to him that my nearest neighbour is just next door, and I think his nearest neighbour was 3 miles away. You know, there's a very different idea about space in the US. And, you know, I live in Nottingham, which has got 600,000 people, and he lives in Orville, Alabama, which has a population of 112. So, very different worlds.
It really is, isn't it? And then, what's her name? Gail Brewer, from the book, who wrote the book.
Yeah.
I mean, has she kind of been disgraced over the years and come back again?
I can't really comment on what she's done.
There was the tape incident, wasn't there?
Well, she made, you know, she put out a book called The Elvis Tapes, and I didn't really want to get into that in my film because I was concentrating on Orion's story. So we really focus on how her book Orion had a bearing on how Jimmy Ellis ended up becoming Orion. So that's kind of what I concentrated on my time with her, because it's really hard when you're making a film like this to get distracted by so many other potential storylines, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, I walked away waiting to see the Shelby Singleton documentary because that's the thing I want to watch now. So
yeah, he's a
back over there.
fascinating guy.
Yeah, he just sounds. So I've read up a little bit since, and I'm going to follow you around with the camera making it. So that's going to be a story to be told someday. But that was good. And then the candid interviews of Jimmy Ellis. You seem to have managed to track down interviews that I wouldn't have thought were readily available with the cursing and whatever. So that was interesting. So you got friends in high places there?
Well, like I said, I was very persistent, and there's there's a massive amount of stuff out there surrounding Jimmy Ellis and Orion. There's a lot of bootlegging, and so I was able to track down a lot of different interviews. And then once people knew that I was making the film, they would send me stuff. So if new stuff kind of arrived, then I get it. So the film is kind of made from 8 key interviews with Jimmy Ellis, aka Orion, and some of those are kind of radio interviews that he did, but some of them are more candid, kind of backstage stuff that he did for fans.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily people kept everything. I think with the timing of the film was interesting because it was very much in an analog time, so people kept the tapes that they recorded. It may be if I was making the film about a contemporary person, it might be more difficult to actually get the stuff off people because digital is just much more ephemeral, isn't it?
Yeah, that is it. I'm really missed that we're not going to have photo albums in the future because nobody bothers to print them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just lose everything, and you'll lose a hard drive one day, and then that's your life.
Oh yeah, then it's gone. Well, no, I spent a lot of time scanning in negatives that people had kept safe in their attics. So it was really like being a private investigator at times.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, so if any of our listeners haven't watched the film yet, how can they get hold of it?
Well, we've made it available in lots of different ways for people to view online. So it's on iTunes. You just go to the music documentary section on iTunes and look for Orion, the Man Who Would Be King. Look out for a charming-looking guy with a mask on, mysterious-looking man with a mask. But there's loads of links on our website, which is orionthemovie.com.
And for those of us who'd like to collect the weird and wonderful, will a DVD be available?
Yes, I'm making a special limited edition DVD that's going to be hand-numbered, and it's going to have a 4-track vinyl soundtrack EP to go with it. At the moment, I'm trying to find out whether I can get gold vinyl made in the same way that all of Orion's records were gold vinyl.
Oh, great.
But I'm just trying to work that out at the moment. But that will be available in December, and the best thing to do is to go on to orionthemovie.com and sign up for the mailing list to make sure that you don't miss out on this, because they're limited edition and they'll all go, I think. So.
Oh, well, I'm on the mailing list, so make sure I'm ticked off there, because I shall have one of those, please.
Great.
That's great. If there's any more screenings, let us know, and we'll keep in touch with you of any future projects. Thank you very much for your time again.
Fabulous. Thanks so much. It's been lovely to talk to you, Vince.
And to you. We'll catch you soon. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
That was a very, very, very good interview with a very interesting person. And personally, I actually enjoyed that movie. I think it's good.
I think it's great. I mean, it's well made as a documentary. So you've got to say, well done, Jeanie. I mean, she's hit the big time with Seahorse. I think was the film that people will probably know her as. If you look that one up, and that was on the Beeb not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's the look it up. Yeah, it's a lot. We're not going to get involved with the plot of that. It's take me forever. But she's done some interesting other music documentaries as well. Got some things in the pipeline. She was really welcoming to us. Brilliant idea. She's a fan of fans. She's a real. She really knows how we do this. So love it or hate it. We thought the film was great. You know, you can rent it off God knows where these days, streaming. You can buy the DVD. Have a look. And take your hankies because it's a bit of a tearjerker.
Yeah, I went to see it at a local arts theatre as well on the night it came out, and very impressed. I mean, it's one of those movies, isn't it? You don't even have to be an Elvis fan. It's just a very interesting documentary and lots of footage, lots of TV footage as well. You know, from interviews from on American television and stuff like that, and all fascinating stuff. And stands alone as a good old work of art, I think.
Yeah, some Elvis bits in there as well. So you know, we're not flogging a dead horse here. There is a serious Elvis connection. We recommend it. We say go get it. And nice one, Jeanie. Let's see what the next one is.
Absolutely, and remember who you spoke to in the days when you weren't very well known when you're picking up your Oscars. Okay, so we quite fancy a little trip to Hollywood to stand outside the theatre.
yeah, she can say, "Who are you?" Right.
Yeah, good stuff.
Happy on that? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Big announcement time.
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to this.
Do you want the full fanfare for this bit?
Come on then, let's have it.
Are ready? So big announcement time. We do a lot of these shows and we keep saying we need your input and then we just go and do a top 5 of our own choice. Sorry. Egos are egos, aren't they? But actually this time when we say we need your help, we really need your help. Now, we have opinions and we're happy to share those opinions. We're happy for you to disagree with our views on anything. And the big thing that keeps coming back to us in a pub when we're having the Elvis debate is about ETAs. Now, I'm not for it. I don't see the point in things, you know. So that's fair enough. But what we want to do is we want to have a serious debate. We want your input, not a slanging match. I'm not going to say they are rubbish because, and they're not backing up. I'm not even going to say they're rubbish. I'm going to say they're not for me because, right. But I want to know what I'm missing because, you know, there are a squillion people there that go to big venues to see ETAs or little grubby little pubs and they fill the pubs, if you remember what pubs are. Right. We want your help because we want you on the show. We want recorded interviews with you. We'll have you live and do the interview with both or either of us. We can have you just send in an email. Whatever it's going to be, I need to know more. If you are an ETA and you want to come on, then great. We're not just trying to rip you apart or take the mickey. It's not that. It is trying to get to the bottom of how this is so huge.
There's an industry out there, and it's for some people anyway. It's their living. It's the way they earn money, and however people can earn money these days, then good luck to you. Get on with it. But we also need to know, how is this becoming an industry within the music entertainment, the live entertainment business, and why should we have you in front of us rather than Elvis Presley in front of us? You tell us why you are adding to the Elvis industry, the Elvis story.
Yeah, and we want all sides of this. So we're asking you on here. You'll see this pop up all over Facebook. We're going to write to Graceland. We're going to write to Elvisly, Essential Elvis, Manager's Music. We're going to write to everybody because we want to make sure everybody gets a fair crack at a whip. Everybody gets a say. And we're not looking for this for next week. We're going to take a while on this one.
Yep.
So, email us. If you don't want to get named, don't get named. But I don't just want pages of rants and death threats and all sorts of stuff.
All right, then I'll stop writing to you if you don't want those death threats.
I don't mind them for Valentine's Day because it's the only post I get then. But that's all right. But we really do need your help. So, you can get us on the website, which is
talkingelvis.co.uk.
We know you can get us on email.
Vince@talkingelvis.co.uk.
Easy peasy. Facebook's there. Everything's there. Carrier pigeon, 2 baked bean cans and some string. We'll find a way.
And I'd also ask you as well, if don't just come on to us and say you're wrong. This guy is great. That guy is great. That lady is great. Whatever. Don't just. Let's have a reasoned argument here. We can have a slanging match any day of the week, and there are no real winners or losers out of that. And it makes for, quite honestly, less entertaining conversation. And to listen to it sounds a bit bland if all you're doing is just chucking random facts in the air. So let's do it properly. And please get in touch because we're not 100% right, although we like to think we are. And neither are you, and you like to think you are as well. So let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Who are misses?
I reckon there should be a song called that.
Yeah, I'm going to change my name to Marvin and write it. Yeah. Good stuff. So please help us on this one because we've heard lots of people skimmer around the surface. We want the definitive talk on it.
It's going to be great fun as well. It's all going to be great fun. So, please do get in touch.
Okay.
Hi, guys. What's on the show next week?
Well, do you know, Ian, what's on the show next week?
I'll be going down the line, which is also going to be a little bit controversial. Are we going to start saying that Elvis songs, some of them, aren't very good? Do we dare? Do we dare?
Yeah, this is interesting because I think this is the way to go. We're going to do the top 5 or the bottom 5. We're not quite sure yet. The top 5 or the bottom 5 Elvis songs, in our opinion, and why. Now, it's funny because I was only reading a Facebook article this week where somebody had written, I love Elvis. I love every song he ever did. I love every film. I love everything. I love his shoes. I love his hat. I love everything. And you go, really? Really? And that's just being infatuated, isn't it?
Can be perceived.
Yeah, it can be. You've got to go. Some things really wind me up. Some things got this, and we're not going to. What are we not going to do? We're not going to rip songs apart for the sake of it. But in our opinion, what are the worst and why? Good idea.
Absolutely. We've got is there something over 800 songs or something to choose from, so it's going to be a bit of a thing. So if you can think of any song that you're not particularly keen on, it's all right to say so. We're not going to get vilified on this show. Did
you bring the villa into it then?
I did, yes. It's part of my daily language, I'm afraid. Like I said, football's back and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Let's have a go at that. And like I say, if you're listening to our voices now and you think, actually that song, I don't like that. Tell us why you don't like it, and like I say, you're not going to get any stick from us. We'll listen to it and probably point and laugh at you as well. But please, there'll be a laugh. Get in touch.
It's got to be fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the reasons why we dislike a song than which song it is.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of perception out there, isn't there? That from the media or from the general public. So they say, well, I don't like that song. That's not a very good song. That's not a very good song. And yet we might like them. So we're going to go over a combination of our own dislikes and what is perceived to be disliked as well. So that I'm looking forward to that. It'll be good fun.
Watch this space.
All right, then. Lots of people, which is always funny as well.
Well, yes. So episode 1, we've got through to it. Thank you, Jeanie Finlay. Thank you, the memory of Orion. Brilliant. And thank you, Ian.
Thank you, sir. See you next week.
Cheers all.
Find us at www.talkingelvis.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. In fact, any place you get your podcasts.